I'm sure you guys are all curious about medical marijuana and how it all actually works and if you're allowed to do it in an assisted living home. So I'm actually going to discuss that topic here in this video. If you guys are interested, it'll be a good one, so make sure you guys stick around. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to my channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you guys. So if you guys haven't joined the Facebook group that I've created called Legion Assisted Living Academy, make sure that you guys go request yourselves. It's free, so you guys might as well go do that. I will link it down below for you guys, so make sure you guys go join. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about medical marijuana. So there are a lot of benefits when it comes to medical marijuana, but the thing is, in an assisted living home, it is actually a lot more strict in order to administer medical marijuana. And so in this next clip, which will be a screen share that I'm gonna have, it's going to actually point out a lot of things that will be required of an actual resident to have in order to actually be able to get administered medical marijuana in assisted living. So let's go ahead and jump into the next clip. All right, guys, so here we are, and the first thing that you want to be able to understand is if you can apply as a designated caregiver. So each caregiver will have to actually be designated by a patient, right? So only a qualifying patient can submit an application designating an individual as qualifying patient's designated caregiver. So what that pretty much means and how that pretty much sums up is if a resident moves into your home, they're going to have to actually send in an application for one of my caregivers to be able to administer that medical marijuana to them. So the thing is, a lot of caregivers aren't willing to do that due to the liability of what if they administer too much, what if they administer, too little of the marijuana, and therefore they could be liable for the patient's outcome. And so if a caregiver is willing to actually be a designated caregiver, as you guys can see, this is how these are the requirements for them to be allowed to actually be qualified to do it. So they have to be 21 years of age. They have to agree to assist the qualifying patient to the medical use of marijuana, and they have to have not been convicted of any felonies, right? Kind of the same requirements overall for anything else, like purchasing a gun or anything of that sort. And then also an individual may not be a designated caregiver for more than 5 qualifying patients. Well, let's hope you don't have, so if you got a 10-bed, for instance, and 5 of them, you could only have 1 caregiver administered to 5 of them, and then another 5. A designated caregiver does not have to be a home health aide or another professional caregiver. So that's kind of nice. I mean, if family is a designated caregiver in that sense, and they need, and some families may actually want to do that, come to the home all the time to give them their medical marijuana, right? And yes, each patient must apply for use separately as the designated caregiver. They can't just have a card saying that they're qualified for the medical marijuana. They have to have a separate card for the caregiver. Can you be both qualifying patient and a designated caregiver? Yes, it looks like they can. So it looks like the patient or the resident could have, both. They could be qualified to get the medical marijuana and also to administer it to themselves. So that may be something that you may want to talk with your resident about. A designated caregiver must pledge not to divert the marijuana to anyone else. So as you guys can read through here, there are certain things and certain requirements for the caregivers and the resident themselves, but for the most part, you just want to make sure that you read all these regulations if you are deciding to admit a resident who may be using medical marijuana and is needing to use medical marijuana. Then you want to make sure that you read all of this and that you can actually admit them into the home and be able to administer it. This is quite interesting, is actually growing the marijuana. If you don't live within a 25-mile radius of a dispensary, this could be something I mean, I wouldn't grow marijuana, and I'd advise that you don't, especially if you live in an HOA. You should probably not be growing medical marijuana in your backyard or anywhere else. So it says designated caregivers can grow marijuana outside when authorized to grow marijuana, who comply with the law growing the marijuana in an enclosed, locked facility, a closet room, greenhouse. So it does, I guess, have to be an enclosed area. So it has to be, is defined as, okay. All right, so it has to be enclosed. So make sure you guys, I hope you guys don't have to get to this point or have to do anything with this. This is just way too much extra work. In my opinion, I would not take that resident. If a resident is coming to the home needing medical marijuana, I would probably not take them. So yeah, guys, this pretty much gives a rundown of what you would need to do in order to be able to administer medical marijuana. There you have it. I would not advise taking a resident who is using medical marijuana due to the fact of the regulations and all the headache that you have to deal with when it comes to actually administering that medical marijuana to the resident. I personally don't have any residents who do medical marijuana, and you know, it's probably best that you don't, but then there are a lot of homes that do take on clients that do use medical marijuana and see the benefits of it with dementia, etc., pain management, everything of that sort. But that is all up to you guys. I mean, it kind of narrows down, you know, if you are a home that is prescribing that, and you know that could be beneficial for you as a home, right? To be able to offer that service to actually administer medical marijuana. But as you guys saw, the resident would have to either be themselves their own designated caregiver, or your caregiver would have to agree to administer that medical marijuana. And you know, with that being said, there's not a lot of caregivers that would want to take on that liability of having to do that. Even though you could pay them more, especially if the resident is, you know, on a higher end of paying at the home, you know, and their rate is higher, then maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth charging them a little extra to be able to do that service for them. You know, that's all up to you guys. To each person their own. I am not going to tell you guys what to do and not to do. Just make sure that you guys are following the regulations and the laws when it comes to medical marijuana and administering that. Also make sure you guys get that updated in your policies and procedures, and that you are compliant in that aspect as well. And yeah, guys, it's definitely a very gray area, but you know, as long as you're staying within the scope of practice and you are following you know, your state regulations and you're following the law, then you guys should be in the green and in the clear. That's kind of a terrible joke, in the green, but you know, you guys should be okay in that aspect. So make sure that you guys just stay compliant, and it could, like I said, be beneficial for you as a home, and it would be a service that you guys can provide that a lot of other homes aren't willing to provide due to the fact of the headache that they'd have to go through. But then again, that's what makes it all worth it, right? That's what makes you stand out compared to other homes. So if you're looking for ways to stand out and be different, you know, provide that service and do that for residents that are qualified to be able to, you know, use medical marijuana. And I see this medical marijuana topic in the near future become more and more relevant with assisted livings, and it will eventually be able to be administered like narcotics are with hospice, etc. So yeah, guys, just make sure you guys follow all those regulations. And you know, if you made it all the way to the end of the video and this video has been helpful, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and yeah, go join that Facebook group that I've created, Legion Assisted Living Academy. That's a great group. I think we're at 57 members right now. So go join, and make sure to go watch all these other videos if you haven't yet. And I will see you guys all in the next video. God bless. Peace.